Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to the stream.
Hi there.
Happy Father's Day, first and foremost,
Happy
to
Father's Day,
everyone
everybody.
out there. Um, I guess we're gonna get right into it with the news that happened to me earlier this week. I got banned from Arc Raiders for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
You're such a horrible person. What'd you do?
I was running around and I was on Stella Montes, which is like this super PvP map.
Yep.
You know, they got like different maps, they're different scales and stuff like that. And this one's all indoors. People spawn near each other. Um, People are there to fight. You know,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of friendly interactions that happen
Yeah.
at that place in particular. And
So
it's like
it's
a
expected.
yeah, you know, like you're not gonna run into the nicest guys either. You know, like people
Mhm.
are there to, take stuff from each other and be mean about it as they do it.
Yeah.
Um, so we were running around, we were talking our crap,
That made me think of a movie. Something. I think it was. God, what was it? I came here to drink beer and kick some ass. I think it's Dazed and Confused. I don't know that for sure, but that's what it made.
Yeah,
Immediately what came to mind.
that reminds me of like the Duke Nukem quote, where he's like, "I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." I think that's Duke Nukem. That could be from something else too.
I would not know.
And it might even Duke Nukem because he's like a parody character of like badass guys. So he might even be like, "I'm here to chew ass and kick bubble
The name
gum."
rings a bell. Is that a Cartoon Network thing or
No, it's he's like an old. He's a very
Duke
he's like a
Nukem
'90s kind of character. You know, he was like a
from?
woman. He's a video game character
Oh, okay.
specifically. So he
Duke Nukem.
yeah, I'll pull up a picture of him.
Oh, are we need to join you?
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Give us a sec, folks. We're here making sure you can see what I
Don't
can
leave.
see.
Don't leave. All right. Where are you at? He wants me to wave. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, don't need to do that. But this is Duke Nukem. So it's like he was a '90s character that just kind of over the top.
Okay.
He was like a womanizer, and he's kind of like Deadpool, where he would like make a lot of meta commentary on like other games and stuff like that. You know, like you would see some armor from a different shooter, and he would like talk shit about it and be like, "Oh, that's for pussies,"
Hmm.
And he like talks like that, he's all like, "I'm hungry,"
Just a
like type
parody.
of shit. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's very one note of a character. They tried to make a game for him in the 2000s, and time moved on,
Mm-hmm.
humor changed and shit. So by the time the game came out, by like I think it was like
Unfortunately,
2010 or something like that, it just was not well received, and it was a super childish game. Like it was not really, it was
yeah.
not what made the old ones
I
good.
came to chew bubblegum and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to agree.
And at the end of the day, it is just pretty much a Doom shooter, which is just like one of the earliest versions of a first person shooter. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, it wasn't like groundbreaking or anything like that. But he is an iconic character of his time because he's very much of his time,
Yep.
Kind of like Johnny Bravo or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a macho,
Yep.
fucking
Yep.
asshole, pretty much that you don't want to be around.
Yep.
But yeah, we looping back around to our creators. I've heard that there have been a lot of false reports, and like false bans,
Well, that's what you didn't say.
like what got me
Like
banned.
anything. Like I don't think you said that you even knew why.
Yeah, no, it just I
You don't
got
know why,
an
right?
alert on my Steam, and it was like,
Can you ask them? Can you like write them and be like, "Yo,
Yeah, there's like a service line that they had, but it is all AI controlled. You
Still,
cannot get to like a human
you can still
being.
talk to AI. AI will respond and be like, "You did this and this and this and that."
But they don't tell you why you got banned.
Did you
There's
ask?
no way to find
Did
it.
you
I
already
did
ask?
research online. I like went through and was like, does this happen to other people? Why would this happen to me? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing a lot of stuff on like
I'd
Reddit
still
and a lot
ask.
of different posts being like, yeah, I've never cheated a day in my life. I've never been banned from any game. I've never had this happen, and I just got randomly banned for no
I
reason.
would
I
still ask.
don't
I would ask that way, like, you know what to, one, like, avoid in the
avoid.
future, but
Well,
I,
what I
I
was
feel like
looking
that
at,
that just because people say, I don't know if what you research said that don't even bother asking,
pretty much.
but AI at this point is, it might be dry, and it might be very, like, you know, maybe even inaccurate,
Mhm.
because it literally could just be searching through thousands of queries and looking at the most common reasons why people are banned and be like,
Mhm.
this is probably why, you know what I mean? But it's still worth just going directly to the source and be like, yo, what the fuck? Why was I banned? I would like to know, because as far as I can tell, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing this game for a long time.
Hmm.
Why would I be banned? If
Yeah.
anybody that happens to listen to this has a thought about this, put it in there, because we would like to know if this has happened to anybody, um, and suggestions. What should he do if there's
Yeah.
anybody?
I was just gonna bite the bullet on this one because it's like a 3 strike system. So I got like 2 more strikes on my account.
How do you get back?
So on July 9th, I should be able to play it again. So they gave me a month ban.
It does not make sense that they would do that and not give you
Yeah.
a reason.
What makes me upset is the fact that it's like a $40 game that I like paid for. I like bought it
I wish we would have
for.
put this in the title, actually.
We can change it.
Yeah,
We'll add it to the description.
we
and
should.
Stuff.
Yeah.
We're just kind of freeballing it, folks. You know.
Yep.
We'll loop around to some stuff we said last week, but right now it just seems interesting to bring up this little thing
Tidbit,
that has
because
happened to me.
how long have you been playing Arc Raiders?
Since it came out.
Which is,
Yeah, so last year around November-ish is probably when I started playing the game.
have you ever
and-
been banned from any other game?
No, I've never I've gotten banned from like servers in some games for like kind of the same reason almost of just like pretty much having too much fun, I guess.
Well, then you slightly know
But the thing
why
is,
you were banned.
I guess I don't feel like I'm that good. So one of the reasons they stated online was that the AI anti-cheat that they were using can't really tell the difference in movements sometimes with like higher level players when they're fucking out there fighting, you know?
Right.
And it can like false report them as a cheater. I could have been mass reported by people, you know, just that I beat and they're salty. They might not even like believe I'm cheating, but you can report anyone at any point. There's nothing stopping you. You know, you don't have
Yeah,
to
but that
provide
sounds like
proof.
people would have to kind of they would have to kind of get together and conspire to do this to you, because if mass people were doing it
But I think
individually,
it's an AI mistake.
would tell me that you were actually
That's-
doing something.
No, I believe it's an AI mistake. I think it's because nobody's used AI for this before. This
Mm.
is like it's learning, you know, and this is a pretty big problem with this game specifically.
AI
like a ton of people that are in my position that have never been banned from a game.
AI policing the game is
Yes.
like super new.
Yeah, like usually all live service games will have like a team of people.
Then
and they'll
do this.
have-
Put a complaint in. Be like, look,
I
just
would-
do it
an
because
AI
if other people are doing it, but still, there's
Yeah.
still human beings that look at the data feedback.
But they
And if
don't listen to those cards. They listen more to like this will probably get way more traction if we had like listeners and stuff like that. If I was big enough, because that's the other thing about it is there are other people that play their game
Yeah.
daily and stream it, right?
Uh-huh.
And they've gotten banned for no reason, but they get VIP service. It literally segregates people.
I would still do it because I guarantee you there are other people doing it. It's kind of like signing a petition. That way they will like look into it and be like, okay, yeah, AI is like, it's literally banning a lot of our clientele.
Yeah,
Then we're gonna lose.
Like the
we're gonna
people
lose
that are-
money.
they've lost like 80% of their player base. So they had like four thousand people concurrently daily,
Hmm.
and it was down the last time I checked to like 40,000. So they lost like a lot of their players
Yeah.
over time, and
Yeah.
like games player bases, especially like a live service one, like this type of game is made to exist for like 10 years, some odd. It's like their idea.
What
That's what they would like,
what
you know.
what gives you that time frame?
That's usually what live service games go for right now, and if they survive the 10-year mark, you're kind of set in stone as
Live
like,
service game.
yeah, live service is the think like Fortnite or like even Call of Duty now is turned into a live service game over time because they make a lot of money. They can put new content in and keep players playing the same game.
By the way, on that note, not just a slight segue. I was just
Mhm.
listening to somebody today on it was actually one of the UFO podcasts I listened to,
Mhm.
and one of the people, his name is what's his name? Brett, um, Brett Friedman, I think is his name.
Mhm.
One of the creators of Dark Skies from the '90s, a '90s NBC TV show that was like well received
Okay.
back then. But he was talking about what he's some things that have happened to him, and he happened to mention the fact that he was working on some uh, Call of Duty, and then he
Mm.
stopped and he was like, "But I can't talk about that,"
Mm.
and it made me curious. I'm like, "Why? What do you mean you can't talk?" Because he obviously he's a writer. I know
Yeah.
that, but
I was
I
gonna
think that
say
he actually he must be somehow technically um
like a writer for,
proficient. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's able to write, and I don't know. Maybe he's just writing narrative for the actual story. Whatever the case might be, sounds like he's under an NDA for some of the new Call of Duty stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty is doing using this same modality that you were talking about.
Yeah, and they're a little different from other live service games because they existed before the live service model. So they kind of have a contribution to their old gamers.
Explain to me what live service means, though.
So they are games that are continuously added to, and like they have a planned
Aren't they
lifespan.
all?
No. So back in the day when you made games, you just delivered the game. There was no way to make the product better, right?
Okay.
Like before the internet was able to like download all of this new information and such,
Right.
you would burn the CDs or your cartridges, whatever you would be making,
Uh-huh.
and that was your product.
Right.
That's why it was so important for bug testing and optimization to happen, was because you couldn't go back. If you put out a bad product, that was it. Times are different now. Now you can put out a shitty game and fix it over time.
As you're dealing with feedback.
Yes. It's called the early access model,
Okay.
and there's a lot of good to it, and then there's obviously the bad parts of people putting out a shitty game and promising a lot of stuff,
And
and then
not
they just
following
take the
through.
money and run. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like it's got a 50-50 chance of being awesome.
Yeah, and so the
Or not.
live service model is not just an early access model, it's still like a complete product that they're trying to push out, right?
Yeah.
But the intention is to keep players engaged. That's always their goal. Think mobile game kind of tactics, you know, like
yeah.
the things that they do to get you to log in every day and like invest time into like things and stuff like that.
Yep.
It is that kind of model being brought into AAA game space, you know, that has been, it's been in there for like a decade now at this point. Fortnite set the standard for how a live service game should be in like today's world, and a good way to make money. And now
Yeah.
you see new games trying new things, you
Yeah.
know, because if you just do what Fortnite did, it's not going to do as well.
It sounds like what they're doing is throwing shit out there
Mhm.
and,
See 'em-
apologizing later.
Yeah, and you got a lot of attitudes.
Or just getting, a lot of high fives.
Yeah,
'Cause
well, it's a
seeing what
combination
sticks.
of like yes men in the companies, you know, people focused on like trying to build hype and like trying to build a product that they think will be what's the right word? Attractive to a consumer, you know,
Mhm.
to as many consumers as possible too. Like they're not just trying to get kids or just trying to get adults, or like Call of Duty used to really focus on its main demographic of people, which were teenage boys. right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of edgy,
Or
like
30-year-old
dark
men.
stuff. Yeah, that too. And they want the Fortnite money, so they are, making changes to incorporate stories that have a little more of like flavor for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
less of like the edgy fucking angsty stuff, and like honestly the like badass stuff too, it's like really turned down. But they also are just getting lazier at making their games because of the whole mobile tactics stuff. The whole point of a live services game is to put in as little effort as possible and make as much money from it as possible.
Right.
Like find that balance of like what's going to make them happy enough to keep them engaged, and then
Yep.
we can lead them on too, because you have to promise stuff. You have to make roadmaps now that like show people like, all right, this year, that by this time next year, we will have these things in the game. You know,
Yeah.
um, it's crazy. I
So
guess when you
basically,
think
they're
about
all
it.
experts in psychological profiles.
Pretty much, yeah. It's definitely a war of information when it comes to live service games. I'd say, and like attention.
I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised. I shouldn't be surprised that Call of Duty, because they were dangerously close to becoming irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from what I hear.
Yes.
And it sounds like that's probably the only way to stay relevant.
Yeah, and they're going back to their roots. Then they said that so many times,
Mm-hmm.
and they've done this exact play before. The last time they did this was in 2019, but they like to kind of like hard reset and be like, all right, this one's super realistic again, super grounded, angsty, like has all that stuff
Right.
that they had in the earlier games. It was like, yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so they're doing that again. They're really trying, and it's Modern Warfare again. Every
I
time
was
they're
gonna
doing
say
that,
Modern
they go
Warfare.
back to
I'm
Modern Warfare.
surprised. So Modern Warfare is still. They're still updating. They're still using that.
Yeah, they tried to go into the future, because they've done World War.
They did Modern Warfare. It was World War II.
No, there's like
I
three.
remember there was a whole narrative that was like they call.
Well,
The reason why I remember this
okay.
is because I looked at the game and I was like, they're calling this Modern Warfare, but it's all World War II fighting modalities. And I'm confused by that title, unless they were just going back and calling it Modern Warfare because it was like in the 20th century, within the it was within the era of the nuclear age.
Well, the first three games were, I think World War II games specifically.
Yeah.
And this is before Call of Duty was really big. So Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3 were like PS2 games. This was before they were like everyone was playing Call of Duty. But then they made Call of Duty 4, the fourth game, Modern Warfare, the very first Modern Warfare they ever made.
Didn't they have one that was Call of Duty Special Ops or something like that?
They got Ghosts, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 1 through 7. And Black Ops also used to be really cool. Black Ops 1 and 2, super sick.
All I know is their ads for it were like amazing. When I would watch the ads, it made me want to play it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I could never get my feet wet.
Yeah.
Because I didn't play enough to actually become good.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I wanted to like just, and the reason being is because I would have to play it by myself a lot.
Yeah.
But I would always play it with people that were just diehard, Call of Duty fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like generate and be shot instantly. They were like waiting for me to fucking generate and like be aiming at me
camping.
Like, you fucking assholes, give me a break. Let me get my feet wet here, buddy.
And that is a great example of like some of the earliest forms of like super competitive console, like toxic gaming, like the stuff I was just talking about in Arc Raiders, where everybody's talking shit to each other.
Yeah,
that was like born in the Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare era, of people
but
like
you have to realize I'm
other
talking about the era where the dude that was doing this is sitting on the couch across
it still
from me.
had like split screen too.
Not across town or the country.
My uncle was really good at video games.
Yes.
When I was younger, and I remember I would watch.
He just got a huge kick out of that. I'm like, it's not cool, man.
Because it would happen to him. It was the culture of the game.
Yeah.
It was like a toxic self-feedback loop that made you do the shitty stuff that made other people not want to play the game.
But the way that all of you became good at them were playing the game against the game. You wouldn't play against somebody else.
Nah, the
You
only way we got like actually good was fighting people.
you'd have to play against something like on a level that where you could survive long
Yeah,
enough to do something.
you get your entry. So like when you're getting your feet wet, I would say you probably want to stay from away from multiplayer unless you can like you're really okay with loss. Like video games will teach you to accept loss, especially when it's like
It was just
you
fine, but I wanted to actually play.
yeah, and that's where it's like you gotta find the right game at that point, you know, because like arc raiders, I don't tell everyone to play arc raiders because it's like, hey dude, somebody's gonna be shitty to you and you're gonna
You're
have a bunch of your personal stuff
you're in a different
and they will
culture now
take it
than
from
though
you.
that the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The culture you're in is one where you're most games you're kind of tossed into the fray with other people
Mhm.
anyway, and more than likely you don't have somebody that knows you that is like just like
Your
ha 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 and looking to take you out the second you enter.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because they can.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's no like
mean? Knowing that you're a
sportsmanship.
newbie, they don't know that you're a newbie, and so you usually can use that ignorance about who you are and your skill level
Mhm.
to like maintain your lifespan for at least a short period of time while you learn.
Yeah.
Um, so that feels like that would be an advantage for a newcomer. Whereas if back then I'm only playing with people like yes,
Yeah.
the person we're talking
Like
about,
right next door to you type of
and that would
stuff
be
or
the
down
only
the
person. I
street.
mean, you guys were too small. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You weren't even playing that yet, and that was the only person I had to play it with. And so I was like, all right, get fucked. I'm done. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and then you try to find him in Mortal Kombat too, and he's doing like the craziest shit you've ever seen.
Combo bullshit. And
Yeah,
he's like square, 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 fucking triangle, square.
I remember he was sitting
That
with his.
probably is a combo too.
I was watching his brother play one time.
Ben. Oh,
Yeah, but
I do that.
and he like was trying to do a tutorial, like a training session in Mortal Kombat, and it was like this super long combo of like.
Yep.
And I remember him doing it for like hours, just being stuck on that part. And John, fuck, came over and was like, "Let me see," like gestured
Do you
over
do you
to the
realize
controller,
how like
he like
kind of just
busted it out.
innocuous? Just those
First
names are very benign. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's nothing to worry about.
we're trying to get better at not giving too much information away.
No, just to be cool. It's ultimately we don't care. It's not. It's not. Internet's weird, and so we're trying to get in the habit
See,
of just being general with our references
yeah,
when it comes to home. But and really not even about us, just people that we know and stuff like that.
yeah.
So anyway,
But yeah, so circling back to that, they went back to World War II a couple of times in the Call of Duty series. There was World at War, and then the actual just World War II, and then Vanguard. And those later ones are not very good. They're not very good at all. They tried to make them like Modern Warfare.
do you feel like it's coming back though, having taken
Ooh,
that track?
like the Modern Warfare stuff is still like the most hype because it has like
That's Call of Duty though.
yeah, it when they try to go future, it kind of feels a little too Fortnite-y, I think. They
Mm.
always get a little too like colorful, or they clutter the guns and like make a bunch of like weird versions of the guns and stuff like that, and then they always got to add like other technologies and shit to try to
Compete.
fill in the space setting,
Mhm.
the futuristic like Infinity War.
You mean
They're
things that aren't realistic or things that are just a little
yeah, they gotta
too
like
sci-fi?
make it realistic, like and try to be like all
Seems like
you
they
know
would like if they stay right on the edge of futuristic, like where it's could almost be present day.
yeah,
Um, then that would be successful because you can broach some really exotic technology,
yeah,
seeming exotic technology that is in the realm of possibility without it just becoming silly.
yeah, and that kind of like I feel like Ghost Recon, like the Tom Clancy series of games, have always kind of done that better. They've always had a real grounded sense of like
Because that
stealth
is
and
what he
like
did.
yeah,
That is what he did. The way that he wrote his novels. Because I read I was never a huge a Tom Clancy fan, but I I watched Patriot Games, and it made me want to read some of his stuff.
Yeah.
And the way he approached military technology, military tech at the time was very edgy. Like
Hmm.
it was right on the edge of being realistic.
Yeah.
And come to find out, he was literally, now I don't know how much of that was um disinformation, and how much was real possible technology, because of the fact that I learned that he had an advisor from the
Mm.
CIA
I see.
and the
Because I was
military,
gonna say, I know he didn't like do
and
any military operations
he had that,
personally.
but they don't. Anytime that those intel groups advise anybody in the media, they're not giving you straight,
Yeah.
100% straight information.
Yeah.
They're trying to give you something that's going to either like misdirect you a little
Hmm.
bit,
Or
um,
straight up manipulate
make
you.
you fear a little bit more
Yeah.
than necessary, or make you fear a little bit less. So what they actually have could be more or less. You know what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
much that muddies everything. And so the fact that he had that, I was like, oh man, that made me read his stuff much differently.
Yeah. And not only that, the propaganda machine for the U.S. military was in full swing at that time in the
Yeah.
mid 2000s, and
Oh, it's still
video
there.
games, yet it's just not as effective as it was. Like Call of
It's really
Duty
hard to
and
be.
Tom Clancy got a lot of people to enlist. Like
That's
video games
I'm
alone.
telling you, dude.
Yeah.
I am telling you, and that was not an accident.
Yeah. People are just more aware of it now,
Yeah.
I'd say, like
Yeah.
of kind of just propaganda in general,
Yeah.
you know?
It's
So
really
I don't think it's as
romanticized,
effective. Yeah.
just like the movies always do, and they
Hmm.
always have. And I mean, I think there's a place for that. I think there's a place for the patriotism,
Yeah.
and that I personally don't want to look back on all those feelings I had when I would read war stories and hero stories from World War One and Two and stuff
Hmm.
like that, and the chills it would give me,
Yeah.
and look at it like, oh, the evil government got them, and it tricked them into dying for their country. You know what I mean? There were people that actually, they had ideals. They they
Hmm.
they they loved their country.
Yeah.
They still do, and that's still a real thing.
Yeah.
So that hasn't died. It's just that there's an element thrown in the mix, that has kind of disenfranchised a lot of idealists, people that want to look at things that way, because they see those maneuvers, those things that they're doing to try to entice.
Hmm.
Especially since we know we can look back now and so many things have been declassified,
Yeah.
and we all realize that those fucking dark nights that you spent in your den or whatever on the fucking 4 gigabyte computer,
Hmm.
you know, um, hoping against hope that the next page would download so you could read the rest of the conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? Were actually fucking true.
Yeah.
Those things are declassified now. And the reason why they are is because they realize that nobody gives a shit at this point.
Yeah.
But what it is doing, that I think is backfiring a little bit, is it's reaching another generation that's looking at it and talking to the older generation. There's that bridge.
Hmm.
There's that bridge that still exists between the generation that was sitting there reading all that shit and going like, God, if this is real, that's fucked up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? To the generation that is looking at the declassified documents going like, holy shit, that was real? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And there's a middle group that really just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, wow, yeah, government will be bad, just
And
like boys will be boys.
yeah, and
But
I guess
yeah, people care
ignorance
about
is
their
bliss, but
home, their
yeah.
homeland, and still want to go and fight for their country. That's a real thing.
Yeah, and I don't think people should feel bad about them,
No,
for wanting to do what you want to do, whether
they're still heroes. They're still people that
it takes bravery to fucking even go,
yeah, they will go out there and be willing to die for something, even knowing that there is just convoluted things in between them and the truth.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately, these type of people tend to be black and white people. They're very disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, okay, well, whatever is going on with the spooks in between myself and um, the bad guy, I don't give a shit. I know there's a straight up right and there's a straight up wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm here to make sure that the right stays right. And those people, we hardly ever hear their names.
That's true.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to talk about like Call of Duty and stuff like that without bringing up the government, but at the end of the day, they did push for it, and was a part of its influence,
right.
Um, they got their support, I
It
should
was a
say,
fun, even though I got killed all the time. It was a fun game. When I played
Yeah,
it by myself, I'll put it that way,
yeah,
it was fun because I could feel the pull. I could feel that I could see, hey, yeah, I could see myself getting good at this. I never became one of the people that spent hours in front of the. You know what? The last thing I spent hours in front of was Zelda.
yeah,
I spent like 3 weekends until I beat it, and I had to buy the fucking cheat book,
yeah.
not off the internet.
Had to get it physically from a
That
place.
motherfucker was mailed to me from something that I fucking like looked up the old-fashioned way, because I was told that there was a book that had all these cheat codes, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I fucking beat you, I win."
I win.
But that was probably the last time I remember ever really losing a lot of time in front of a video game.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
I mean, I've done it countless times,
Yep.
like lost so many like, months probably just
Lost in a world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Red Dead 2 consumed me, and it's still probably my favorite game to date right now. Like if I had to put one at number 1, just right hand to God, dude. Red Dead 2 is the best game I've ever played in my
I think
life.
there's something coming out. Um, Live action.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That would be super cool. It would be scary.
I'm a little afraid to say that outright because I might be
Yeah.
wrong, but
I know fans are like low key really would love like people fantasize about the Rockstar fans,
yeah,
the people that like these games.
yeah,
I see posts all the time of like fan castings, where they'll use AI to put like a celebrity into the costume of the character from the game and be like, "Look, he could play this dude pretty well."
right.
Um, so I see that stuff all the time. So I know the fan base low key is kind of down for it. I would
Yeah,
say like it would be very hype. Like it would be like Last of Us again, where people would be like everyone would be fucking talking about it.
right.
And it would be sick to get to like, because I got a lot of friends that I will like swear be like, dude, you have to play this game. Like you have to. Like you have to beat it. It's like one of the best stories I've ever played in any game ever. Um, and I might just be looking at it through rose tinted glasses,
Mm-hmm.
because like I played it when I was like 18. I was like one of the first games I got after like moving out and stuff like that. And I like had all this time that I could like
Does your brother still
devote
play
to
it?
it. Hayden, I got Hayden really into it.
The other brother.
Ethan wasn't as into it as me and Hayden. He played it, but I don't think he ever beat it. So he was never as into the sandboxy
I
open
know
world
that.
stuff as I was,
I know
and
that.
he was more of a Zelda fan when it came to the open world stuff, more of their design
Uh,
and how they do things. I would say, and I feel like because he's a huge Elden Ring fan, but that's definitely way more like Zelda than it is like Red Dead. Like Red Dead tries to be an immersive, like almost simulation, I'd say, where Zelda is like a world built for the player.
mm-hmm.
So things there's, yeah, it's just different, you know. It's a lot more subtle in Red Dead too. They like
Right.
fill in the gaps with a lot of like what your brain would see is actually there, you know,
Right.
and actually, it's what makes games fun. And like books are fun because you can imagine the craziest things.
Well,
It
it's because your
says
imagination is like the best. I wanted you to see if
we're still.
Red Dead's got.
Oh,
Oh, we can do that too.
I want to
But
make sure the stream is doing okay, so I might
yep.
just hit this refresh button. So bear with us for a second, folks. I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah, Brett Friedman, I think is his name.
Mhm.
One of the creators of Dark Skies from the '90s, a '90s
That's
NBC TV show that was like
Yeah, that was a
well
while ago.
received back
Okay.
back then. Did it stop? But
I'm
he
worried it
was
stopped.
talking about his what he's I some things that have I happened noticed to our him, and he happened music to mention stopped. the fact that he was working
I
on
did
some
stop the music because I was
Call of
hoping
Duty,
it would
and
let
then
it.
he stopped. And he was like, "But I
I'm
can't
worried
talk."
that is making the stream like buffer because you remember the first time we did it, it had no troubles, but we weren't using.
Stopped around 45 minutes on the last one.
Yeah, and this one's
Where are we
saying
at?
we're at 12 minutes so far.
We've only been doing this for 12
No,
minutes.
no, we have not. We've been doing it for almost like an hour.
Huh.
So I'm a little concerned.
That's okay. If this is in there, well,
Yeah, I'm not worried about.
we're
They'll
still
hear
doing
us
some of the
if-
stream things. Our last week we did around and out, like 50 minutes and something. I remember looking when we stopped, and then the stream, when I went back through and listened to the whole thing, stopped at about 45 minutes, and so we were trying to figure out why.
I might need to put an Ethernet cable to my computer so it gets just a.
I thought you already had that.
hard- No, I have a.
What do you
really-
have?
My graphics card has a like network like specific thing built into it, you know, so it already gets like pretty good stuff.
So it's a
but-
wireless connection?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
yeah, I think that would make
I guarantee
big
you
difference.
not going to be more than $20 for something like that.
yeah, we just got to get something long that can go throughout the entire house. That's the only like
Why?
because the modem is like
Oh.
on the other side of the house.
Well, that'll be more than $20.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, the stream might. It says we're live still, but it's just
NBC TV show that was like, well. So if we're going back and playing it, how is that
but
not
he was
interfering with the live? Sorry, folks.
No, I don't want to do that. Can I do this? Will this do anything? Will this ruin the stream?
You would think it would tell us if it stopped.
Yeah. Besides, like this, the little error message is not enough.
What's the error saying? I
Um,
can't see it.
it's saying that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, which
Enough video.
is kind of some bullshit.
I liked what you had on there last time. Did that pop up?
Like the
Yeah.
game that I had up.
Yeah, the game with the cars passing and
Yeah, I will. I'm trying to like figure out what's making it not work. So I'm like, now I don't have the music going. Now I don't have any other games in the background going.
It wasn't the music. The music stayed going on the last stream. It was perfect. I think we should keep it going.
Okay.
It makes a nice little background.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep going, and when we're done, we're done. And if it worked,
Sense of like.
because that
stealth
is
and,
what
like-
he did.
Yeah.
That is what he did. The
Okay,
way that
okay.
he wrote his novels. Yeah,
I think
that's
it's still doing it, and so now it's saying it's at 17 minutes. So it's definitely having a hard. I think we need to start with an Ethernet cable.
yeah.
I think getting an Ethernet cable would be a big game changer.
Cool. Well, let's get our background music back.
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
If y'all don't agree with the background music, that's going to be a 50-50 split, I think, because I know that I like it when I listen to people that have that in the background, and some other people don't. So
Yeah.
since we're running the stream and we like it, that's
We're-
what you're getting.
Gonna do it. We'll take suggestions though, as long as it's copyright free.
Oh yeah. Yep. But
So feel free to leave a comment down below.
this is copyright free.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, we were talking
Where were we?
about the games, about Call of Duty, live service games. I guess if we're looping all
Yeah.
the way back around, it would be we started with Arc Raiders, and like the shit that's going on there, with their false reports.
Well, yeah, and
other
that's what we were
stuff.
just trying to figure out. But that led into a whole conversation about live service games and older games kind of jumping on that bandwagon.
Yes.
Which apparently I'm hearing from you sounds like a good idea.
As long as you know what you're doing, to a degree, I'd say. I'm not like in that field or anything like that, but
Yeah.
from the games that I see that do succeed are
No,
usually.
but you might not be in that field, but you're in that field because
I'm definitely a consumer.
You are a very informed consumer.
Mhm.
You sound like you know what you're talking about to me. And you paid attention to the I don't know, the marketing stats behind everything.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
fun
interesting. I wonder
to
how
look
many
at.
other gamers do that.
I think it's like any hobby where you got your hardcore people, that just like live and breathe
Mm-hmm.
their respective thing,
Yeah.
And it's just always been so effortless for me because I don't know, I was so obsessed with finding new games and like getting to play them that I would like find any video, any like article, anything I could about the games, and I would just like sit there and just try to soak up as much information as
Right.
possible because it was about whatever I was interested in. And then before I knew it, I was just like saying company names and developers and stuff like that, and I would say it to people like, "You should know this." I'd be like obviously Ubisoft versus these guys is like blah 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 blah, and people would look at me like like what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh well, these guys made this game and these guys made this game, and when you compare the
But you
two,
found it interesting. You
yeah,
found it interesting to look at how the sausage was made, right?
yeah, true,
I mean, some people don't because that kind of I would say that destroys their suspension of disbelief.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Kind of like a movie. When people are super interested in filmmaking and they also watch a lot of films and movies, there are some people that don't like knowing so much about how movies are made
yeah,
and stuff like that and all the magic behind it because it interferes with their suspension of disbelief, which is what movies rely on to kind of captivate you.
yeah,
When you watch a show or a movie, there are things happening on there that the human mind will look at and go, yeah, right.
yeah,
But there's an agreement that happens between you and the writer or the maker. The same goes for novels and things like that. Anything fictional where you're being asked to read something and believe it and accept it
Mhm.
so you can enjoy it. In order to do that, you have to suspend your critical thinking for the most part.
Yeah,
That's why when people are too high and they watch something and they're like, "Ah, God, that movie. I mean, it was so, I mean, that would never happen." They're like, yeah, because we made a movie and, we weren't counting on your analytical mind being involved. So what they want you to do is suspend that mechanism that makes you disbelieve what's actually happening on screen or on
yeah.
the page. So, yeah.
I know I like to see behind the hoods of projects like that, like films and
That
TV shows and
you're one of
stuff.
those people that doesn't bother them. You can still
Yeah.
enjoy your game, enjoy your movie, and know how the sausage is made and still enjoy the sausage.
Well, I think the difference for me is if I'm really excited for something, I try to know as little about it as possible
Mhm.
so I can get like the rawest experience.
At
It's
least that
like,
first impression.
yeah, and if I am hooked enough, if I like really enjoyed what I have just consumed enough, I am like I can't stop myself. It's like the same thing as I was just talking earlier, where it's
Yeah.
just like I want to know more. I want to know just whatever I can find. Like after watching Obsession recently,
Hmm.
I like found a whole bunch of like interviews and stuff like that from the director and then the actress and the actor that's like starring in it specifically.
Hmm.
And a lot of it's like clickbaity stuff, I guess you could say, where like when it's the interviews and stuff like that, they're like asking each other like internet questions and shit like that. Like how was your chemistry on set? Stuff like that. But when you get to like see how they like film certain things, and like Obsession was made like pretty cheaply with like $750,000, so it's apparently a huge deal to make your movie under $1 million, let alone the returns they're getting from this movie. Like it's beaten E.T. and like all sorts of other stuff. Like it's
Hmm.
performing so well, and it's because
Obsession.
it's because it's really tightly made. It is like a non-conventional horror movie, I would say, that makes use of its characters in space so well. Like you don't even really notice that they don't really go anywhere, or that like the time jumps that do
Yeah.
happen. It's just paced so well and written so tightly, and then like
Yeah.
the decisions that they made on set that like have ended up affecting the final movie. And you get to like, it's crazy when you see those things, because you see those same scenes that look so impressive before, and they're still impressive, but you get to see them in a light where it's like everybody's going to work, and they're like, everybody's staring at this one person screaming in a room, you know
Yeah.
and I like seeing that other side to it. Like I don't know, it's just cool to like see what people go through to like trick you,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like it's just
That makes me think of, well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
hmm
Like it blew its budget out of the water. I mean, it's,
yeah,
well, as far in a good way.
yeah.
Um, and what was the other one? I'm drawing a blank for some. I should not be drawing a blank on this because I went to the Mayan Theater in Denver to see it. Blah 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 blah. What the fuck? Mayfair Witch? Am I? Is this? No, not Mayfair. That's Anne Rice. Uh, God damn it! I am drawing a blank on this one iconic movie that had a really low budget, and it went out first
Mhm.
to a lot of like
Like
indie
test screenings or stuff
indie
like that.
theaters and stuff like
Okay.
that, which is why um, I went to see it. I'm trying to tell you this without saying names. It sucks. Um, of people that I went to see it with, but you were probably shit. You were under 12 months old, and it was on Broadway,
hmm
the Mayan Theater right across from the Hornet.
Okay.
Um, God, please jog my memory. You have to know what I'm talking about.
Is it like
And like,
Evil Dead?
no, no, it's
But
like it's very iconic. It's the
Blair
Blair
Witch? I
Witch.
was gonna say Blair Witch
Witch.
was another one.
There it
That,
was.
yeah.
Blair Witch. That's why Mayfair Witch kept coming to mind because of
Okay. Yeah.
the Mayfair Witches is an Anne Rice trilogy,
Okay.
which was one of my favorites. And I read that one. I read the first novel in that series like 3 times, but the Mayfair Witches just came out with I think it was AMC with a series and told that story, and I was pretty happy with how they portrayed it.
Yeah.
But I'm like moving far afield from my point. The point is that Blair Witch that I went to see, which when I saw it, it had all these accolades
Mhm.
because it was. I mean, it was good. It just didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't appeal to me. But it did what we are talking about right now, where it
Mhm.
had a very low budget and had a very high return.
Yeah.
And I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the same way.
Yeah, I believe so. And I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre like changed the game. You know,
Yeah.
like really introduced the like slasher genre to like a whole new level of intensity. Because obviously Michael Myers did it first. Like Halloween was like the first
Was it?
major slasher. Yeah, I believe he's the oldest of the
Huh.
slashers. It's him, Leatherface, and then Jason and Freddy, and then Ghostface. And then now I think Art would be in there. He's like a slasher of this time, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's the only one that's gotten like big enough
Jason
to be
Voorhees.
with
Which
him.
one was he from?
Friday the 13th. Dude, I
Oh yeah, that was like.
love. Yeah. Jason always had an extra fear to him
Yeah.
that none of the other killers had. Like Halloween, right? Michael Myers. The Mask always kind of like wasn't scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was always like hit or miss. And I think Michael Myers is his scariest in the 2017 movie they did
I
of
think it
Halloween.
was like the big knife and the stabby stuff that was scary.
Yeah, well, I think what makes Michael scary and like what makes slashers in general scary and why I don't like Freddy so much is like when they do supernatural stuff and try to like make it actually scary, it doesn't really work for me so much.
Well,
But when you
that
have
was
a dude going from house to house,
Yeah.
just killing every person comes into contact with
Yeah.
whatever he can find,
Yeah.
you know, just whatever's right next to the person he runs into, you
Yeah.
know, that to me was like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, that is a scary, like, I couldn't imagine.
I agree, but for whatever reason, the slasher genre didn't. When I was at the age where I was watching these a lot, it didn't scare me. It
Mhm.
was kind of like it had the jumpy scare part where I was like, oh damn, that would suck. Wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that, and in that moment, yes, it was scary, but as far as like actually being kind of sucked in to something and feeling the fear throughout the entire
Film.
movie,
Yeah.
that underlying like just thrum, that
Yeah.
that feeling that
like
you feel,
a survival horror
yeah,
movie.
like was probably and I'm staying in that era.
Mhm.
Was the Nightmare on Elm Street, because the idea of not being able to wake up
Mhm.
from a nightmare to me was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a nightmare that could extend into real life.
Yeah.
You know, it was a terrifying idea.
Yeah.
It was kind of like drowning or you know what I mean, something you can't
Control.
control. I mean, like the problem I had with the slasher genre was that everybody was so stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they would always run to the most ridiculous spot
Yeah.
to hide. They would trap themselves. You know what I mean? And I know that the whole idea behind them was like people are so terrified that they're not even thinking straight.
Mhm.
I get that, but when you're watching, it made it hard for me to like suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
Whereas the idea of this entity that originated with a real person,
Mhm.
that would find you in your dreams, and there was always something, and then of course they just kind of took it.
To weird.
They just took it too
levels.
far. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, just like they always did with all the sequels, because I mean that was how they continued to make their living.
Yeah.
But I did like that. Now, to circle back to the slasher,
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a completely different animal for me than your run of the mill slasher. It was you being out in the middle of nowhere, having fun, just
Mhm.
being, you know, oblivious to your surroundings, thinking you're invincible, you're a young
Yeah.
kid, and you're just out there and gonna have an adventure, and you know the psychology of the psychological horror in this film
Mhm.
is what really reached inside of me, because they found themselves, they were kind of like a lobster or a frog in boiling water, not realizing the danger they were in.
Mhm.
You know, just seeing some friendly-faced hicks in the middle of Texas, not realizing they had run into some fucking cannibalistic serial killers
Yeah.
that were all smiles and giggly and seemingly stupid.
Mhm.
You know, that was just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the intensity from Texas Chainsaw Massacre's settings in general, because for me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of those series that never really fell off in terms of like atmosphere and like how hard it would be to actually get out of a place like that alive, you know?
Right.
Um, which is like what I'm like looking for from horror movies, is that like that belief of like, man, these are regular people around not so regular people, that are successful at what they do too. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre also had a way of like everything was old, their house was
Mm-hmm.
fucking decrepit and like the people themselves looked weathered, and just like
You could almost smell the rotten meat
mm-hmm.
watching that movie.
He would go like, I mean, there were real bones, and like the kitchen scene was actually really intense for the actress, when
Mm-hmm.
she was like getting like thrown around and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, and that was like a common thing a lot of horror movies would do, which is like actually fucking traumatize the actress that
Yeah,
they
the
is
one
the
where
final girl.
the scenes where the girl's like running through the woods in
Hmm.
the 70s version of this. Um, it was in the 70s, right? I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I
And I
believe
don't know
so.
the exact year, but the the look in her eyes,
Hmm.
when she,
And her
like just
screams.
just complete terror.
Yeah,
She didn't she didn't need acting classes for that,
no.
They were
Well, I mean,
real.
they had real chainsaws
Yeah.
back then too. I believe like
I
he
don't
was
know.
actually chasing her with like a real chainsaw that like had the chain on it, and they were just doing it how they did things back then. They're like, well, we'll just try not to like hurt anyone while we're doing this, but we also want it to be as real as possible.
Yeah, because they had a low budget. They were going for broke, that's for sure.
Yeah, 110%.
I'm
But
sorry to do this, but I got to stop and use the restroom.
oh, it's okay. I could do the same, honestly.
Okay.
So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back.
And we're back. But yeah, I guess another one that always used to scare me a lot was Ghostface. Because of one, I had no idea what was going on when I was a kid, but those movies were really big when I was really little.
The Scream?
Yeah, the Scream
Oh, yeah.
movies. And I remember just like what freaked me out about Scream was how it could like kind of be anybody, You know, like the whole murder mystery aspect of it. That this like guy that's in a like a common costume that you could like
And
see
the fact
kind
that
of
it was like
anywhere.
a friend.
Yeah, that stuff I didn't really learn about too much late until like way later
Yeah.
until I like ended up watching the movies. But whatchamacallit, when I didn't have like any context of the movies or anything like that, and then I would see that costume like everywhere as a kid as well, you know, and the way he would sprint his people at people too, like you wouldn't usually see too many slashers like running
Right.
at people from that time.
Yeah.
So, so I guess we're
I
just checking the timeline
watched
again.
um
It's still going.
Scream, the first Scream in the theater when it came out, and it I mean, when it did in the theater, it was intense, you
Yeah.
know. Again though, it wasn't like it didn't stick with me. It
Hmm.
wasn't one that where I was like, "Holy shit, that was intense." It was just like the dude I went with was like practically cuddling with me by the time it was over. I was like, "Dude." It was all the jump scares and stuff. He was like, oh. And I was like, "It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's just a movie. It's just a movie.
not
It's okay,
real.
man.
Yeah.
It's okay. I promise. That guy's not real. He's not real. That's probably a rubber knife." Um, but on the flip side, a movie that I walked out of that was just reverberating through my system.
Mhm.
Um, and that I couldn't stop thinking about for weeks after I left. And then I went back and saw it again with some friends, and I walked out, and they were like, "God, man, that movie just fuck,"
Yeah.
was Seven.
Mm. And that's like a
It's
thriller.
not even a horror movie,
Yeah.
but it is. It's not.
It's
It's not categorized as a horror movie, but it is.
but the context of it is horrific. Yeah.
It's horrific, and it was the. And I'm sure there were people out there that saw these things coming at
Mhm.
the end and stuff like that, but I don't know. I guess I didn't. Or maybe I did. Was just like I felt it kind of building to something like that,
Mhm.
and hoping it wasn't, because it really made you fall in love with the characters that,
You were following.
yeah,
Yeah.
were Mills and fucking. Let's see, what was everybody's name? I think Gwen, Gwyneth Paltrow. Her character's name was Tracy.
Mhm.
Brad Pitt's character's name was Mills, something Mills. Can't remember what the name of Morgan Freeman's character was, but it was at a time where, like right now, when I go back and watch it, it feels so short, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but it had a lot. It was very dense. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was filled with a lot of um I don't want to say information. It just there was so much that the writer was able to convey
Mhm.
in such a short amount of time. Because I remember going through a gamut of emotions in that film, like loving the library scene where
Yeah.
they play "Ode to Air" by Bach
Huh.
while he's researching. He's researching the seven deadly sins.
Mhm.
Um, Morgan Freeman's character, and that is what made me fall in love with that actual piece of music.
Yeah.
And so I went back and found. I mean, of course, I think I was like 19 at the time.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that Seven was that old. You know.
calm down.
I know. I didn't mean to make that sound bad, but I thought it was like a 2000s movie.
No,
Yeah.
nope, it was not. It is that old.
My bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day.
Happy
Go fuck
Father's
yourself. Um, No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. It was really it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I have been searching for something that matched it.
Yeah.
In the same way that and I've found a couple things that kind of came close to feeling like Heat, the movie Heat.
Mm.
Um, but there's just these movies that you find that the way they're filmed and the way that they immediately everything else, like the room just dissolves
Yeah.
around you and you're there, and that feeling that you feel when you're in that film for the very first time never leaves,
Yeah.
no matter how many times you watch it. So if you're like go and watch Heat, there's like a quiet confidence in that movie.
Yeah.
It just knows that it's going to fucking fuck you up. It
Yeah.
knows that it's gonna like just pull you in, and that you're gonna love it. It doesn't
Yeah.
need a bunch of bells and whistles, and it has a couple that when they happen, they're just they're so intense that you just remember them as a part that you want to go back to in
Yeah.
that
I
movie
was gonna
over and over
say
again.
its intro is such a strong hook to like a crime drama type of story.
All it
Right?
is fucking
They.
Robert De Niro walking through a hospital with in a medic outfit,
Mhm.
um, as he, is confidently pretending to work there,
Yeah.
and goes and gets in his ambulance and drives away. He just steals the ambulance
Yeah.
in an outfit. Um, and the one thing I loved about the sound is like it's got a little bit, of like ambient music behind it,
Mm.
kind of like what we have behind us now, just a little bit, um, just to make you, I don't know, just kind of ease you into the situation.
Yeah.
But the movie itself isn't overwhelmed with a soundtrack.
No, it relies heavily on its like kind of its extremes. Its extreme quiets to its extreme
You'll
louds,
hear
you
the
know?
honking in the background of horn. Same thing with Seven. Same
Yeah.
exact thing. Like when Mills is waking up early in the morning, you just hear horns and well, first his phone ringing,
Yeah.
getting up, talks into the phone, says, "Yep, okay," writes something on his hand, and he's like, "Yep, yep," hangs up,
Rolls out.
fucking turns over, says to Tracy, "Superco's got to go." She's like, "Well, get this crusty out of your eye first." This is how much I remember of these films because
Yeah.
they made a huge impression on me. And in their simplicity, they were just huge.
Yeah. Well, I think they relied so much on like the realness
Yeah.
of like life, you know, because that's Heat
It's the best
feels
story ever.
it's
Life.
true, but it has the way it devolves information and the way actions like happen, you know. There like is almost no exposition, I'd say, in the movie at all that feels like unnecessary. There's no points where anybody's like talking to the audience and being like, "These are the bad guys," or like, "These are the the
Yes,
anti-heroes," or
they do
anything like
not
that.
explain. The movie doesn't over-explain itself, and
Yeah,
that's
no.
what's the best about them.
It lets you learn the
It unfolds.
hierarchy of shit as it goes on. Like the guy that ends up killing the two prison or not prison, but the the cash guards when they take out the cash truck,
Hmm.
and he kills the one, so they're like, "Well, fuck, now we got to go all three,"
Yeah.
And then that guy, they try to fucking clip him out,
Yep.
like setting the tone of like the kind of work group you're like following,
They're
that these
very.
are
They were a tight crew.
mhm.
You got that from the very beginning, and they reluctantly brought somebody else on because they needed an extra hand.
Yeah.
They needed labor. Um, he was recommended to them. Obviously, is what was inferred.
Yeah.
And just like in everyday life, and in the run of the mill construction job,
Mhm.
you take people on and hoping that they live up to their recommendation.
Yeah.
And that scene, not long after that, let's see, I'm going to see how this ties back. Actually, that they went into the diner after they were done, of
Yeah.
course, and that dude sitting there was like, "You want some pie? Anybody want some pie?" And you can just feel the derision of
like
all the other people,
Yeah.
all the other guys. And then Neil walks in and sits down and slams his head into the table.
Yeah.
You know, everybody in the diner looks up and then they look back down.
Yeah. Small moment.
The other scene in that movie that I really do like, what the fuck is that guy's name? Vander something. Um, he gets a recommendation from his guy, John Hoyt. John Hoyt's character. What was his? Am I saying his name right?
I think so. I've heard of that actor.
But he's the guy that researches his hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Vander something is what he was recommending. He's like just the hit for stocks and bonds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the drive-in theater to oh yes, when they hit, this is where the chain of events tie together, is when they hit that armored vehicle. They ignore the loose cash, and they take all the stocks and bonds.
Mm-hmm.
In so doing, they steal somebody's stocks that he fancies himself a kind of a bigwig in in L.A. At least, and so he uses all of his contacts to reach out to get Neil's attention and set him up on a fake job. Basically, because he's offended that his shit was stolen. It didn't hurt him financially, but he was like,